Good Sunday morning, May 31st, 2026. Ken Arzone talking baseball, promoting the book, Yearly Leaders of Every Batting Category. Chapter 9, I'm looking at slugging percentage, the top 5 baseball players in history, year by year by year, making the top 5 in slugging percentage. This video, the 1920s. What a decade in baseball history. Probably the most intriguing, I think that's the right word, intriguing decade of baseball among the 150 years of its history, from 1870 up to the present, the 1920s. So many things happened during that decade. Batting averages, runs scored, RBIs, home runs, obviously, doubles, triples, singles, slugging percentage on base, walks, total bases, stolen bases. What a decade. Let me prove it with just one offensive category, and that is slugging percentage. Up to this point, from 1870 up through 1919, the highest slugging percentage by a player was Levi Merrill, 1871. Now, they only played 60 games in the 1870s, roughly. He had a 700 slugging percentage, but it's not enough games for me to be significant. 700's good, but 60 games, no. Some other guys got into the 600s. Lib Pike, John Bass had over 600. Then as you go through the decades, 1884, Fred Dunlap had a 621 slugging. Tip O'Neill, 1887, had a 690 slugging. So you got 1870s, 1880s, but most of the guys through those 2 decades were 400, 500 slugging. Then we get to 1900, turn of the century. Guys are still in the 500s, 550, 580. Nap Lajoie had a 643 slugging. Other than that, not too many guys are breaking 600 slugging. They're in the 5s. 1911, Ty Cobb had a 620. So that's a little eye-opening. So here we get back. We get to 1919. All of a sudden, Babe Ruth has a 657 slugging. 1920, listen to this. Babe Ruth slugs 847. What? So guys are struggling to get to 600. They're mainly in the 400, 500 slugging. Couple guys break 6. One guy broke 7. All of a sudden, Babe Ruth goes 847 in 1920. Excuse me. Whoa! George Sisler was second, 632. Joe Jackson, 606. So the 1920s starts a trend of slugging percentages. 2 guys go over 600, and Babe Ruth goes over 800. Tris Speaker, 595. Rogers Hornsby, 589. 1921, Babe Ruth comes back and slugs 846. Both of these years, 1920 and 1921, are legitimate because Babe Ruth's playing almost the entire season. He's not just playing 60 games. So in 1920, 847 slugging. 1921, 846. Back-to-back 800-plus slugging. No one else has gotten over 700. But in 1921, Rogers Hornsby goes 736. So where did he come from? Harry Heilman goes 670. Ty Cobb 638 and Ken Williams 606. So in 1921, something unique happens. 5 guys go over 600. One guy goes over 7, and Babe Ruth goes over 800. See the trend? Slugging percentage is now being increased. 1922, Rogers Hornsby goes 722. Back-to-back 700. Babe Ruth 715. Ken Williams 672. Tris Speaker 668. Harry Heilman 660. So again, back-to-back seasons. 5 guys over 600. See the trend? I'll point it out again. 1870s, 1880s, 1890s, and the 1900s. Guys were 400, 500 slugging. Now we're getting guys, 5 of them, 600 or more, better slugging. Something's happening in the air in the 1920s. 1923, Babe Ruth, 764. Harry Heilman, 632. Rogers Hornsby, 628. Ken Williams, 623. Tris Speaker, 610. 1924, Babe Ruth, 739. 5 straight seasons, 700 or better slugging. Rogers Hornsby, 696. Cy Williams, 552. Zach Wheat, 549. Harry Heilman, 533. 1925, Rogers Hornsby, 756. What's going on with this Hornsby guy? How many times did he make the top 5? Rogers Hornsby. 9 times top 5. Babe Ruth, for your information, had 15 seasons making the top 5 in slugging. All right, 1925, Rogers Hornsby, 756. Ken Williams, 613. Ken Williams had some good seasons slugging. Had about 5 seasons. Al Simmons, 599. Ty Cobb, 598. That'll be his last season making the top 5. And for your information, Ty Cobb had 15 seasons top 5 slugging. Tris Speaker, 578. Tris Speaker had 9 top 5 slugging seasons. 1926, Babe Ruth, 736. Cy Williams, 568. Henny Manouche, 564. Goose Goslin, 542. Harry Heilman, 534. 1927, Babe Ruth, 772 slugging. Lou Gehrig, 765. Al Simmons, 645. Harry Heilman, 616. Paul Wayner, 549. 1928, Babe Ruth, 709. Lou Gehrig, second time, 648. Rogers Hornsby, 632. Jim Botany, 628. Goose Goslin, 614. 1929, let's finish the decade. Babe Ruth, 697. Rogers Hornsby, 680. Chuck Klein, 657. Al Simmons, 642. Lefty O'Doul, 622. So the 1920s. You want to hear something? I previously said that the first time a ball player went 10 for 10 making the top 5, it was Ty Cobb. He did it in the decade of 1910 through 1919. Every season, Ty Cobb made the top 5 in slugging in that decade. 1910, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 10 for 10. First time it's happened for a ball player to make a top 5 in an offensive category. Now I'm looking at Babe Ruth's 1920. Did he go 10 for 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nope. Went 9 times. Because in 1925, he had a bad year. Got suspended. I think he missed half the season. So he didn't make the top 5 in slugging that decade. but he went 9 for 10. So far, Ty Cobb holds the record, 10 for 10 in an offensive category. Babe Ruth is second. He went 9 for 10 in the 1920s, making the top 5 in slugging. How about that? Also, 1920s, we see Tris Speaker and Ken Williams and Rogers Hornsby have a good decade as far as slugging. All right, let's look at the 1930s. Let's see what happens here as far as slugging percentages. All right, we'll talk to you later. I'm out.